Okay, so a little job I think I'll do is I've got some new studs. These were painted, and what I found is that the original ones are very slightly larger than these, which is a bit of a problem because it'll mean it's really hard to push the covers on and off, and I don't really want to do that. But I found out that these are actually still large enough for the thermal covers. So anyway, we're going to go and just take these off and replace them, and then I'm just waiting for the tool to arrive to install the other end of these onto the nets. So that'll be done tomorrow. So anyway, let me crack on and get these changed over, and another little job done. So just adding in another fuse. So this is the cable for the DC charger. So it will be connecting to the battery. Now it's got a breaker on the far end, but I want to add just an extra fuse in here. Now this is 100 amp, which is overkill, but it only just the fact that the fuse holder came with 100 amp. So I'm going to change this one for a 50, because the alternator down there is only a 50 amp alternator anyway. And so the DC charger will only be set to 30 amps maximum. So a 50 amp fuse in here will be perfect, but it just protects the cable as it runs through the van. So a little bit of overkill maybe, but better safe than sorry. So just crimp the wire, bit of cable here, which is going to go and fit in there. So I'll just add that in now. That's another one to tick off the list. So another little project is I wanted a thermal cover for the windscreen. So this one came courtesy of Temu, of course, and it's not the thickest in the world, but for about 12 euros, what did I expect? But it's got magnets to hold the corners in on the side of the van. Little elastic covers here so that as you shut the door, you don't lose it. There we go. But it had the window cutouts, sorry, the mirror cutouts in the wrong place. So I've got a pair of scissors and I've cut around the edge, and then I've just done a binding stitch, a zigzag, on the new sewing machine. Forgetting what I'm talking about there. And that's done that. So what I then did, I've still got that side to finish off, but what I then did is I got some bias binding, and I did the edge of that, and I cut off the Velcro piece that was on the other side. I need to trim some cotton off that, and that's put the restraining piece on there for the mirror. So I'm quite happy with that. It fits nicely, goes all the way around, and it will cut down on a bit of the heat. As I say, it's not the thickest in the world. It's not bad. It's the silver, so it'll do all the main reflecting of the sun. But we'll give that a go this year and see if it was a worthwhile purchase. But for the price, I'm not going to complain. All right, I've just got to bind the edge of this one now on the sewing machine, and then we're done. Okay, so that's the back window done. So I've measured all the pop studs, and it works quite well. I mean, it's not the prettiest of things. Somebody said to me the other day, put it on the inside, which I would have done with magnets, except that on the outside of the van, somebody has already put these studs in, poppers in. Fortunately, they've used sealant, but it was already there. So it was one more case of making something that would fit in the same poppers on the outside. So yeah, not the tidiest of things, but I'm quite happy with it. It's all my own work, and just for the cost of the materials, another low-cost way of doing it. And the windows are sliding, so that can be all the mosquito protection that we need. So yeah, quite happy with that. I've done the two side windows at the back, and I just need the rear window to do tomorrow morning. But it cools down a little bit, it's getting a bit toasty out here. Right, see you all in the morning. So DPD arrived today and I now have my split gaiters, boots, whatever they call them. So these are adjustable in as much as you can cut the ends off. So I've measured the inside one at the moment and that matches that one there exactly. Now I need to work out the other side. So I've got my little calipers, vernier, and I will just measure up the flange on the inside there. It's a bit unfortunate that the flange itself is buried deep inside the hub, so I'm hoping my little crimps will be able to tighten up the ears of the retaining rings sufficiently tightly. But yeah, I'm just gonna have to get down there and get in there and just measure it up first of all, clean it up, get these boots on, and so you get super glue basically. And the idea is that we start at there's a little channel there for these. These are of much better quality than the ones that came from China, the TNU ones. These are made in the UK. One of the few things it is, I suppose, these days. Anyway, they've got a little channel there, and basically you fill it with super glue, and then we just fix it as we go along, bit by bit by bit, all the way along until we get to the end. And then you apply the grease to the joint. You don't put grease inside the boot, otherwise as this spins around it throws the grease to the outside and it starts to damage the boot. So just grease the joint. I'm not taking too much off of what's there already because it looks to be in pretty good condition, but there isn't much dirt got into it, if any. And then this will then slip over the joint itself, and then I've got to get the ring on and then tightened up. There's a little bit of space at the top which I think I can get access to, and hopefully my jointing pliers will work at an angle. They will have to be working at 90 degrees rather than end on, but we'll have to find out. Otherwise it may be a pair of cutters or something like that I can use to squeeze those together. But anyway, it's going to be a little bit difficult filming this, so I'll do it step by step, and hopefully we'll get there. But I'll try and show you as much as I can. Right, first thing to do is to measure the size of the inside part of that CV joint, so we know what size to cut the boot to. See you in a second. So it's 90 mils on the dimensions of the inside of that CV joint, and the outside one of this is from 95 to 114, so that's no good. The next one in is from 85 to 104, so obviously that's the one we're going to use. Presumably it stretches. And if you look on the inside of the boot, you can see that it's got the ribbing there to provide some adhesion onto the metal. So yeah, we're just going to trim that one down, and then we know that the inside one, we've got to take that one off there. So trim these up with a pair of scissors, and then get in there and start cleaning. And yeah, that should be all we need to do. Right, let me crack on, get that done, and as we glue it back up, I'll try and show you what's going on. So I'm just cutting these with a pair of scissors, but it's important, I've realised, which is good because I've done it, to leave this little gap, sorry, this little ridge here, because that obviously helps to retain the boot when the strap is on there, when the retaining ring strap, what do you call it, whatever it is anyway. Yeah, because without that, then there's more chance of the boot actually sliding off when you're under full lock or whatever, when it's under tension. So yeah, make sure when you're cutting these that you keep that ridge all the way around. But they cut quite easily with a pair of sharp scissors anyway, and I prefer to do that than using a knife, just in case the knife slips. Right, just get this done. Right, so the boot's on here now. I've cleaned up as much as I'm going to especially around the outside ring, because that's where it's going to push on. I don't want grease to get on there, but I don't want to take all the grease away from the universal joint. So now I've got the boot on here, and I'm going to start from the small end and then gradually work my way down. Takes about, it says 20 seconds. I'm going to give it a good 30-45 seconds to set off, and yeah, we'll get those joined up there before we try and put this on, and then we'll see how we get on from there. So yeah, let's just crack on, get this glued up, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so that's on and glued. I've still got the very end to do because it goes down a little bit, so I need to push it all on before I do that last little bit. But it says to glue it in sections and then hold it together, obviously, and then run a bead of the glue down the outside to make sure there's no micro holes or anything left in it. So I've done that. And now I've got to find some way of stretching it over this end, which is going to be interesting, but we'll see how it goes on. Yeah, I know it says it's stretchable, but I don't have a lot of room to get into inside that hub there to get on, so might struggle a little bit there, but we'll see how we get on and see if I can get it in there. But obviously I need to put some more grease in there as well, so we'll get that done. Right, wish me luck. That was slightly easier than I thought. So it did stretch quite easily over the flange, and the joint seems to be perfectly okay. It's holding. In order to do these clips up though, I realized I need to take the full lock off to give this some flexibility, so that I can get this one tightened up in a minute, get some more glue on the top here, and then get some clamps on it. So we'll see how that goes. But I just need to turn the wheel back around so that I can get access to glue up that rest of that joint there. But yeah, it's proving to be a little simpler in that respect than I thought. But yeah, the clips are going to be interesting. All right, let's just get this glued up, and then we'll get some clips on there. Well, it's about an hour and a half later. This one was easy. This one was an absolute bear, because basically the tool that I've got does not work. It won't get in there because it's designed to work straight on it from that angle, not from that angle. So what I worked out was that if I started the crimp on one side with a pair of cutters, side cutters, and started the compression, and then took the clip off and turned it around the other way, and then got it just about with the tangs engaged, just so that it pushed over the lip of the boot, and then held the tangs in place, and then got the side cutters and crimped it from the other side. It worked. If you just do it from one side, it just springs open. Anyway, did it from this side. It's kind of mutilated the compression piece, the tightening piece. It doesn't really matter because it ain't going anywhere, as long as it's tight and it is on there permanently. So that to me looks like a fix. I did jack it up a little bit just to reduce the angle so that it made it a little bit easier to get on. But yeah, that is now done. Thank goodness. So all I've got to do now is wait for my new caliper to arrive because of that. And I've also got 2 new hoses on their way as well to replace those. So that's the last of that jobs. But I do have this one to do on the other side. So I do have another one. But now I know what I'm doing. Hopefully it'll be a little bit quicker. Anyway, that's that's another job finished. I'm going to get some lunch and get cleaned up. See you in a bit on the other side.